Well, the Jubilee government has played host to many scandals and loss of public resources to corruption. This has tainted its image and worn down public confidence in the state and its projects. The government is hoping that its just launched portal will help in increasing the public's confidence in the work it has done. Despite many defenses on how it has engaged public resources, there still remains criticism on issues like the debt level the country is in, the cost of projects, and much more. Is the state playing catch-up with critics?
The NYS and Afya House scandals are just some of the cases that have shaken the public's confidence in the government. And with a growing debt burden, questions have been raised about the government's insatiable appetite.
Only reason you should be concerned about the level of borrowing is if that borrowing was being used and utilized for consumption or for recurrent expenditure. But if that borrowing was going to investment, such as the rail, such as our roads, water and health, I don't think we should be concerned as a country. So yes, we're not going to run away from the fact that we're borrowing. But the question is, are we borrowing for investment or are we borrowing for consumption?
Unless and until we do the heavy lifting at some stage, we need to invest seriously in infrastructure if we have to actualize the transformation of our country.
And one thing that the government seems unable to wish away is the corruption allegations around the Eurobond.
We've been told 12 billion from the Eurobond stolen, 200 billion stolen. And Kenyans were buying that story because of the kind of individuals who are out there propagating that kind of a story, you know. Such and such a person, I don't want to mention anybody, would not lie.
The opposition has not only been seen from various members of the public, but has also been seen as a cause of fights between county and national governments over ownership of projects.
The fact that we have county governments does not also mean that the national government does not have functions that it implements at the county level. We do. We have road programs that stretch across counties.
The government today launched the delivery portal website to enable citizens to track government projects from the time it came into power in 2013. Zainab Wandati, NTV.
Right, allow me to introduce our panelists who are already here in the studio with us to take us through those stories of that particular portal that was launched yesterday, of course, and a raft of other issues as well. And also the politicization of the judiciary, where we've seen also the Chief Justice and also the Chief Registrar coming out stoutly denying that their office is being politicized. As the President had earlier alluded to, that, of course, that was a political appointment. We have with us this morning Senator Boni Khalwale, who is a senator from Kakamega. Also, we have Herman Manyora, who is a resident analyst here and also a lecturer at the University of Nairobi. We have with us Mithika Linturi, who is a member of parliament from Igembe South. Also, we have also Senator Mutahi Kagwe from Nyeri and also Senator Kimani Wamatangi from Kiambu. Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning. Morning.
Right,
morning.
We've seen now the portal that was launched yesterday. Let's begin with Herman Manyora, who has been missing for the last 2 weeks.
Begin with Wamatangi. This is his baby.
This is his baby.
Begin with Wamatangi. This is his baby.
We have nothing to say. Let them bring out the questions they have and the issues they have, and then we can answer.
Let's begin with Manyora.
I think, Debarl, you are giving me a big task which I cannot perform.
No, we missed you. You haven't been here for the last 2 weeks.
I've been away a bit and here and round and about. I'm happy to be back. You see, I don't know what the portal is all about. I know Jubilee has done one or two things. Just like any government. Any new government will always do something better. The Moi government did things that were an advancement of what Kenyatta government had done.
Yes.
So did the Kibaki government. And the Uhuru government definitely will do the same. Any new government will always do something better to add on what the previous government had done. But since this is an election year, I will point out to Jubilee that the worst mistake you can make is to try and parade your achievements, hoping to seduce the people to vote for you. It never works. This is time for politics. This is not time to parade project this, to launch this project and that. But that won't take you anywhere anyway. Because then people will also begin to interrogate those projects. They'll begin to see that there's more eating going on in those projects than the work. They'll begin to see the exaggerated costs of those projects. People will begin to see the amount of borrowing you are putting the country into. So instead of seeing the achievement you think they will see, they'll begin to see many negative things. And even if they were positive, development never really was a platform for re-election or election of a candidate, right from the MCA level to the presidential level. It's good to do development, but to think that is what will make you get elected, you might get very shocked. So I sympathize with Jubilee. The president is running around the country, actually exhausting himself, trying to show Kenyans what he has done, but Kenyans are not seeing. Most Kenyans will not be seeing what he's showing them. Let him do politics to get elected.
All right, Mithika, you think that the president is trying very hard, doing things under the wire?
Debarl, I think, you know, some things really fascinate me because Professor is not able to appreciate the extent that the government, and especially the president is going to tell Kenyans that are permanently being told by the opposition that government is not doing anything. The president has decided and has made a commitment that I want to be accountable to the people of Kenya. And one way of being accountable is telling the people, because all these projects have been done and going on in this particular country, I hereby expose myself and check if there is any lie that is here. Kindly get out and say that we've posted or we have put it that we are doing this particular role in this area and it is not there. Honestly, this is, in my view, is a very great achievement for one to be judged on what he has done. I would not agree with the professor that the president should not continue launching projects. Why? Because the president has said I have done this, but I am still telling Kenyans I am in the process of doing greater things than what I have done. And this is why I have these other projects that I will be commissioning tomorrow, the day after, because development does not cease or does not stop after doing a thing. So, in my view, we need to commend what the president has done. We need to support this initiative, and I would even ask whether this can be cascaded to the counties, because the governors must also come out clearly and tell its citizens, this is what we'll be doing. Because many of us have been saying and have stood firmly to say that the county governments, despite the spirit that we expect, or devolution spirit that we earned, in terms of delivery of service to the public, nothing much has been done. So I'm also telling the governors in this country to really copy or to really emulate the president in telling us what they have done in the last 4 years. This is commendable in my view.
All right, let's say from Honorable Mutahi Kagwe. First of all, do you think it was ill-timed? Because other people are saying, of course, it has been 4 good years, and now that this Jubilee government is actually celebrating 4 good years, it's always, you know, wise to come up with your projects and showcase what you've done in the last 4 good years. So, from your own estimation, do you think this was very providential to come up with this particular delivery portal?
Thank you, Debarl. First and foremost, please appreciate that it is a constitutional responsibility of the president to tell Kenyans where their money is going, what they are doing, the projects that are going on. It's a responsibility. And therefore, and he has done this. This is not the first time that the president has spelled out what the country is doing and what projects are going on. He has done it constantly and continuously. The fact that he is doing it now, at a time when we are heading on for an election, has nothing to do with the timing. Really? It is always the right time to do the right thing. And the right thing to do is to continue telling Kenyans, this is what my government is doing, these are the plans we have, beyond right now and beyond the elections. The second thing is that these are very important the delivery portal, because that's where you came out of. The delivery portal is progress. I think we are all talking about technology. We are talking about moving forward towards technology, and the fact that from now henceforth, you are able to see the progress on a certain portal. And like my friend said, this has got nothing to do per se with elections. Because, Debarl, I think that Manyora is completely correct, that development in itself, without politics, cannot guarantee the election. But when you combine the kind of thing that the Jubilee government has done, and the fact that they are very skewed politicians, then it does guarantee the election.
Thank you. From also, Kimani Wamatangi.
Yeah, thank you, Debarl. I had my friend, Professor. I know Boni Khalwale is waiting so that he can add more of the lies. I want to remind Professor and Boni Khalwale because I know they come from that age. Sometimes if you remember Boni and Professor, there was a musician and Debarl, I remember you also sometimes on Tusker Project Fame, so this is not a new world to you. There was a musician called John Denver. Sometimes during the celebrations for UNICEF, he sang a song called Rhyme and Reason. And before he sang it, he dedicated it to, he said, I dedicate this as a prayer to non-believers. and I believe yesterday's launch can be dubbed a dedication to the non-believers of the likes of Boni Khalwale, of Professor Manyora, because if you remember, we have had this debate for a long time. It has been verbal, it has been put in print and columns by agents sponsored by NASA and Boni, including pseudo-economists, who have been writing stories about Eurobond without even a iota of information, or even without simple calibration of economics. And so, now when it is put down there, they can go and I want to challenge them to this extent. That you see, when you want to ask, has this surely been done, be specific. And the lead to being specific is now in the portal. So you can go there. And remember, we had this debate before, even with you, Boni, when you are denying that there are no projects done in Western. And until you get to the specifics, this one and this one. So now you have a reference that you're able to go there and say, yes, this is done in this place and that place. If you doubt, then go there and check and raise it as a matter of specifics. Lastly, I want to say it is a constitutional requirement for the government and especially for the executive at national level to be accountable. Accountability is the demand of the Constitution. And so when the government heeds a constitutional requirement that they have to be accountable to the people of Kenya on where their money has gone for the past 4 years, and more so putting it in form that any person in this country can be able to go there, look at it, question it if you have to question it. I think that's the best way to go. So I want to say to my friends, at least now, the jury is out. The jury is out. We have been speaking in parables and brouhaha and rumors. Now you can go there, check, and if you have questions, ask the questions.
We'll go to the portal and try and see their regions as well. See some of the projects that are highlighted in the delivery portal. Boni Khalwale,
project is on the ground, not on a portal.
Let's hear from Boni Khalwale.
I want to congratulate the president for putting what he calls his achievements on a public portal. It is very clear to my mind that Jubilee wishes to use this public portal for the usual PR that they are known to do. But let me assure them, they are not going to drive on that highway alone. We shall also drive on the highway, and at every stop, we will remind Kenyans, for every PR stint that they will pull, we will remind Kenyans of the reality. They want to drive 12 points. And on each one of those 12 points, so-called milestones, we shall be saying something. Debarl, Waswahili husema, kizuri chajiuza na kibaya chakitemeza. So we shall be telling them that when you brag about ICT, Kibaki and Raila had already envisaged this, and their idea of ICT was Konza Techno City. Jubilee has done nothing. Konza is dead. We will be telling them that you are bragging about healthcare and delivery of specialized medical equipment. But we will remind them that it is only under your watch that all public hospitals in the history of this country have collapsed and closed down. Patients died like wild animals for 100 days. They will be bragging about issuing 2.4 million title deeds. And we shall be reminding them that these title deeds were declared by the High Court of Kenya as being fake title deeds. They'll be bragging about infrastructure, and Uhuru keeps on reminding people something called SGR. HCR, as it is Kenyans, is now a white elephant. HCR was only going to make, SGR was only going to make economic sense if it was going to transit from Mombasa to Nairobi, Malava, Kampala, Kigali, and Bujumbura. For as long as it ends up at Uhuru's farm in Naivasha, it can have no economic sense. They'll be bragging Debarl about food security on this public portal. And the main issue that they are pointing to is the Galana Kulalu project. Kenyans, please. It is not just enough for the president to tell Kenyans that he spent 7.9 billion shillings in Galana Kulalu. He should be telling us how many bags of maize and beans and rice he has been harvesting every year from Galana Kulalu project. President Uhuru wants to brag about the issue of energy, where he says that he has increased connectivity in the so-called last mile. I'll be tabling in this program a list of the connectivity, not in Kenya, not in Kakamega, but in Ekolomani. In Ekolomani, they have listed my home as one of the places that was connected. And yet, the electricity in my home, I connected it in 2003 when I bought my own private generator for 2.8 million shillings, including connection.
They've listed your own home.
They have listed my home. I will table it here and show Wananchi. These people are shameless. They are terrible people. How did they get into government? How do you lie to that extent? My home is listed as one of the connectivities by Jubilee.
You're one of the beneficiaries of the last mile project.
I am a beneficiary, and it is listed.
Are you done, Boni? Because one thing.
I have not finished. There are 12. There are 12. I want to speak to all of them. We are informed, Bwana. You guys are not going to lie to Kenya.
I just wanted first to congratulate you.
Thank you very much.
For taking time, because I can see now for sure you have been to the portal. And that was the intention, to inform Kenyans, the whole of that repertoire that you are exposing
I told you
now.
They are not going to drive on that superhighway alone. We are going to drive on it.
Is evidence enough, Boni, that you have spent your time looking into it. So let's go on.
Let him finish. Let him finish.
It would have been very unfortunate if Boni was not doing what he's doing right now, because it is his job.
Can I go on?
Please finish.
They will be using on this portal a PR on NYS, where the president is saying he has increased recruits up to 4,000. No problem with that. But our concern is not the increase in the number of NYS recruits. Our concern is how they have converted NYS into a cash cow, where a saloonist became a billionaire, and Waiguru got so rich that he now has the temptation to become a leader in the name of being the governor of Grinyaga. Kipchumba Murkomen, a small boy who came from the university the other day, now lives on the fast lane.
That is a fellow senator you're talking about.
I'm talking about not the senator of Elegeo Marakwet, for whom I have a lot of respect by dint of his position, but I'm talking about Kipchumba Murkomen, the thief who was mentioned in the NYS scandal by none other than Josephine
And was
Kafura.
never proven.
You know,
and was never proven as a
this is what you guys told me when I said
just
the story.
Let's go sequentially. We will come to you.
Senator Afif Shuari on live TV.
Can I?
He's finished.
No, I am finishing. I am the 11th. I'm the 11th one.
But in the course,
two more to go.
in the course of listing your 11 or 12.
All right, just
I'm concluding.
Yeah.
Let's go sequentially.
No.
It is your brainchild.
Because Boni, yes, we want to let you finish.
I'm on the 11th one, the only 12.
But as you finish, we also want you to remain true and civil to your oath of office and the stature of the position you hold in society. Because you cannot misuse the opportunity that you have to be present in this forum, which is national TV, to cast not only aspersions but to paint other legislators wrongly without evidence.
I was rereading what the professor wrote.
I'm not advocating for him, but simply be right and fair. You just can't start throwing words.
Okay,
Can I
finish on the 2 points.
You'll answer me all those things when you have your time. So the 11th one is that you are going to talk about the ease of doing business and e-government. Whereas that is a very welcome futuristic idea, we wanted to see a digital government that has moved to a paperless state of doing transacting government business. The billions of shillings that we waste in terms of stationery and printing and manpower would be saved if we made transaction of business in government paperless. And I'm glad that the guru for ICT is here, Mutahi. Finally,
we need to take a short break now.
Finally, they will be talking about security. How can Uhuru dare bragging about security when he has presided over the most insecure government in the history of this country? Westgate, Pegetoni, Eastleigh, Wajir, Mandera, bomb air, bomb everywhere.
All right, just a moment. Okay, we need.
Are you done?
I'm finished.
Let's hear from Prof. We'll come to you, sir. Let's go sequentially. We will. Just a moment.
Boni
Khalwale
has said things actually that I would have loved to say, except calling Murkomen a thief. And I'm happy you have withdrawn because we can't call people thieves here. They may be, but let's not call them thieves. I liked particularly the idea of electricity because I've said here many times. I am a living example of the lies about last mile project. I've been in darkness this is my second year. I put up a small house in the bush. I can't afford to stay in Lavington like you fellows. I've applied for electricity now. This is my second or third year.
Do you stay?
In Ngong, somewhere in Ngong there. And I can see the transformer from where I stay. And in darkness, this is my second year. Really? 2 years. Yeah, now, but what I want to say is...
You pay your bills, man.
I am talking about... Listen, come on. Wamatangi.
You cannot sit here as a professor of the university and try to lie that you're not connected to electricity. Either you don't know what you're doing, I mean, how can a professor... I would listen to that from anyone else, but not a professor of the university. Can you here to say that for 2 years he's been out of power? Go and pay your bill. Check how much it is. Then you'll be reconnected.
Wamatangi, this is an election year. You are standing for re-election as senator, and your voters are watching and listening. If they can see their senator,
be truthful, my friend.
If they can see their senator display this kind of inability to follow a debate, they may not vote for you.
No.
Because
let me tell you.
Listen, Wamatangi.
Okay, let him finish.
I am talking about new installation. I'm not talking about failing to pay a bill. But I'm saying that they ought to connect me as a new consumer.
But you're saying you have been in darkness
not
for 2 years.
Yes, there's no electricity. That's what I'm talking about. They haven't installed it. Under the last mile project.
Where do you live?
Please,
are you building a house in the bush?
You are a leader. No part of this country should be called a bush. Listen.
No, I mean you're lying.
Wamatangi, Debarl, let me help this Wamatangi because you lose votes.
Okay, we're supposed to take a short break right now, briefly.
Briefly, Wamatangi, we are saying this. Yes. There are new installations which you have refused to allow power to give people and they pay because the power will ask me for 200,000 and yet you are telling people it is 15,000. So they can't give you the quotation to pay. That's what is happening. Many Kenyans are crying. I'm one of them. What I want to tell you in very few words is this. You do not put development on a portal. A majority of the voters don't even know what a portal is. You put development on the ground. The spokesman, Manoa Espiso, of State House, tweeting from Bunyore, where he comes from, in Vihiga, where I also come from, released a series of tweets talking about development and roads in Vihiga. I tweeted back at that time. I told Manoa Espiso, we want real physical roads in Vihiga, not the ones you have in mind. Not on Twitter. So we don't want development on portal.
Thank you.
If you want to know the country, listen, come on. Wamatangi, learn to listen. Learn to listen. Wamatangi, learn to listen.
Okay, just a moment. All right, just a moment. Can we hear from Mithika?
Please. No, but I'll finish. No. You have to protect me.
We'll come to you. Let's
you have to protect me.
Just finish. Prof, finish.
Let me finish.
Just give him time. Let him finish.
Let me finish. Come on. Listen, Bana.
Okay,
and you don't
Prof,
go home.
just go.
You have voters. You may tell me what you want on this show, but the voters are with me because they know I'm saying the truth.
All right.
Now listen.
Just finish up.
What I was saying this
very briefly, sir.
Wamatangi, hata kama ni chungu bwana, sikiza kidogo. This is the time for you to listen. What I'm saying is this.
You're speaking from
listen,
the here, you don't go home.
Please, Debarl. This man has a problem.
Okay.